What up, y'all? Happy, what is this, Tuesday, right? Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. I'm Kamari Ellis. Today, we're talking about scammers. In particular, we are talking about trust fund scammers. A trust fund scammer who got 20 years in prison. So it seems like trusts are all the rage these days. Everybody's talking about trust. Even people who aren't qualified to really talk about trust. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I wanted to talk about this particular scammer who got caught filing crazy tax returns, creating crazy fake trust, and he got caught. Seems like criminals aren't that smart these days, but I don't know if criminals have ever been that smart. But at any rate, I wanted to talk about this because it's crazy. And my goal is always, as always, to make this a learning opportunity. It's an educational moment, not just to talk crazy about people who get caught doing dumb things, which it is dumb. No lying about that, but we can learn from it, right? As Minister Farrakhan says, when men fall, learn, don't laugh. So I'm not laughing, at least not a whole lot, but I do find it crazy that people keep thinking they can get away with stuff, get something for free, get a free lunch, don't want to do no work because they're lazy or they think they're smarter than everybody. And, everybody else got to work, but not them. But let's jump right into it. I want to look at this case from the IRS, from the Department of Justice, talking about a man who tried to defraud the government by $165 million. $165 million. He got about five, didn't get the other 165, but what did he do? He took that five and he went and got some cars and a house. But I'm gonna jump right into the court dockets. To the court docket. So let's talk about this. I'm gonna pull this up on my screen here and we can talk about it. Now, y'all might have saw this man is in Georgia. And I'm going to put this up on the screen real bit. So if you're watching somewhere else in the YouTubes, then come on over to the YouTube at the Finance Rebel. So here we go. Oops, there we go. All right, so Georgia man sentenced to more than 19 years in prison, actually 230 months, which is a little over 19 years. It's like 19.1 years, something like that, for filing false tax returns. All right, remember we've talked about filing false tax returns and why it's an issue to file false tax returns. We've talked about that before. I know we have. If you haven't checked out some of those videos, they're all across my YouTube channel. But a Georgia man was sentenced today to 230 months in prison for charges related to filing dozens of fraudulent tax returns for who? On behalf of multiple sham trusts. On behalf of multiple scam trusts. Sadly, wrong horn, by the way. I don't believe people do this stuff, but let's check out this case. So Marquette Maddox of Lilburn, Georgia, was convicted by federal jury on August 18, 2021 on wire fraud, false claims, and theft of government funds, according to court documents and evidence presented to trial from 2016 to 2018. Oops, somebody's trying to call me. From 2016 to 2018. Oh, there we go. More than 30 fraudulent federal income tax returns with the IRS and the names of approximately 12 different trusts. All right, y'all following along. He did this from 2016 to 2018 with 12 different trusts. On these returns, Maddox falsely reported that the trust had withheld large amounts of taxes on purported interest income, thereby entitling the trust to refunds. In total, Maddox claimed approximately $165 million in refunds on behalf of purported trust. Now I'm reading this directly from the Department of Justice. The IRS paid $5 million of the requested funds. Maddox used those funds to purchase a new house, a luxury automobile, and and other personal expenses. I can't make this stuff up, y'all. But all right, just getting into it more, right? Maddox secured secured 5 million in fraudulent refunds by inundating the IRS with dozens of false returns on behalf of phony trust he owned and controlled, said acting deputy assistant attorney General Stuart M. Goodberg. His sufficient prison sentence today makes clear that fraudsters will be identified and prosecuted, no matter how persistent or complicated their schemes. Now, this part I thought was interesting. It says Maddox made multiple attempts to defraud the Internal Revenue Service of over 117 million, but they just said he tried to get 165 million. And then it stated the IRS criminal investigation special agent. IRS has systems in place to detect and prevent fraud, which it does. Attempted to file false claims for refunds in a federal crime. Today's sentencing reflects the seriousness of Maddox's actions and greed. Taxpayers should be wary of any individual promoting and using schemes to submit false filings to the IRS. All right, so that's part of it, right? Now, I want to look at another piece of this. And these folks are crazy. But I love to look at the court documents. Probably because at some point in my day, I was watching crazy law shows and I probably wanted to be a lawyer. I did want to go to law school at some point. But going to law school is expensive. So I don't know about that at this point. Now, there's another piece from the Department of Justice I want to share with y'all. And it's going to link into what I have to say about everything today and all my commentary today. All right, let's blow this up. So this is another piece. Georgia man convicted of filing 165 million in fraudulent tax returns. Now, same case, but what I noticed in this is the names and the aliases that this guy went by. This guy that likes to file these fake trust funds, right? So his name is Marquette Anton Burgess Maddox, aka Marquette Antoine Burgess Maddox L. If y'all don't know what that L means, I'll let y'all know. If y'all do know what the L means, put it in the chat. AKA Marquette Burgess Maddox, AKA Asim Ashuta L, AKA Asim L Bay, 49 years old. So we have a 49-year-old, and sadly, he is a black man. 49 years old, and he's got all these aliases. These aliases lead me to believe, I'm not totally sure, but they lead me to believe that he's one of these guys that likes to do what they call sovereign citizenship things. These are the guys that are quote unquote sovereign citizens and sovereign gals. They don't have to abide by the laws of the United States of America. They are above the law. They can do whatever they want because they are Moorish American. So I've heard a lot about this. They call them straw man arguments. It's just funny. A lot of them say they don't have to buy property. They can just take over the property. They don't have to abide by the laws. They don't have to pay taxes. They're above all of this. And so I believe this is a follower of this particular sect or religion, way of life, that believes you don't have to abide by the laws that govern the land. But here we see this person is getting sentenced to roughly 20 years. Okay, 19.1 years, 230 months. A long damn time in prison. A long damn time to be away from your family. A long time to be away from your loved ones because you want to play fast and loose. But Again, I see a lot of people talking about these things, the trust, the LLCs, avoiding taxes, not paying taxes. Listen, what you have to realize is there's a difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance. And I got some other cases I'm going to talk about probably later on this year. I mean, later on this month, excuse me, y'all. But again, there is a difference. And I just see a pattern. Everybody that's saying that they're quote unquote sovereign citizens say that they don't have to pay taxes, say that they can do all these things. And again, they fly above the radar, they fly above any law. And that leads me to believe that he follows that way of life, right? So what I'll say is there's a couple of things, right? Don't file fake tax returns, Joe. Don't file fake tax returns. And this is probably one of the most egregious things you can do. He inflated his interest charges so he can get a bigger refund. But guess what? The IRS knows about all that's reported when it comes to interest income for the most part. They're going to trace that back, especially if it's in a large amount. He's doing, or he did what's called drawing a red flag. He's sending in multiple trusts. I bet they probably all have his same name. Now, I was trying to find the actual court docs. I couldn't get to all of them. I didn't have time to go through it all the way, but it's crazy how the patterns are clear, as if the U.S. government hasn't seen this, as if the IRS hasn't seen this, as if the FBI has not seen this. It's not new, people. It's not new. Please do something else. Get an education, get a job, get a skill, do something else. Because again, these scammers, these fraudsters are doing all this get rich quick, using social media to fuel their rise. I'm seeing people, non-lawyers, that are doing trust classes. They're doing trust classes as if the majority of the people that are coming to take those classes actually qualify for a trust or need a trust or can afford a trust. 99.99% of the people that are looking at these trusts on social media don't need them. They're being sold a bill of goods. The people who really have needs for trust actually are going to seek real legal representation. They're going to see a lawyer. They're going to see an attorney. They're not going to see your social media expert, your social media guru to talk about getting a trust, getting an LLC, getting a corporation. Well, at least they shouldn't. For those that do, I don't know what to tell you. You're barking up the wrong tree. I think that's bad. But at any rate, that's number one. Don't file false returns. If you are going to file false returns, what you shouldn't, know that the IRS is going to more than likely flag your return for doing something like this, listing interest income that was never paid by an institution or a bank. It's going to happen. Now, let me tell you what normally happens when you do a tax return. When most people file a tax return, whether they're in business, whether they are a 9-to-5 employee, they put together all their paperwork, they file that tax return. The IRS then examines it and looks for it and sees if anything looks weird or kooky, right? They then say, okay, this return is fine. But if it draws a flag, they're going to dig a little bit deeper. If it's something that's really out of the ordinary, like this trust doesn't really have enough assets to generate all this interest income, might look a little weird. Might say, hey, this is going down the wrong way. We need to try something else. We need to look at something else. Again, criminals aren't that smart. Listen, y'all, I know everybody's complaining. We're overtaxed. We spend a lot of money on things. But here's the thing. You got to know the rules. Learn the rules. The tax code works in everybody's favor. Everybody can use the tax code. The same tax deductions that billionaires and millionaires get, the gal that's 50 making $50,000 a year can get those same tax deductions too. Maybe not all of them, but they can get a lot of them, a whole lot. So be cautious about what you're doing. Be cautious about what you're doing. Number two, I said this already, but I'm gonna say it again because I feel it needs to be repeated. Please only take advice from qualified people. And I want to qualify and say, like, who's qualified, right? Somebody that's actually studied something, worked in a field, done something. For example, I might say, hey, you need a trust. I'm not doing a trust, though. I'm going to refer you to a lawyer, an actual attorney, somebody who went to law school and passed the bar and that practices law. Why? Because trusts are legal documents. I'm not a lawyer. I told y'all I got a big affinity and love affair for lawyers and law, but I'm not a lawyer. I didn't pass the bar. I didn't go to law school. Now, if y'all find somebody that want to pay my law school tuition, I might think about it. I might just think about it. But for right now, I am not a lawyer. So when you look at these things, please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind. All right? Only deal with qualified people, not people who just popped up on social media and said, hey, you can get a trust. They talk slick, they talk fast, they look fancy, they might be pretty, they might be attractive, but a lot of times they don't know what the hell they talking about. They're just talking because they know if they talk fast enough, if they talk slick enough, somebody will believe them. If they rent out a vehicle that's fancy, somebody will say, hey, he's successful. If they book a plane to take a photo shoot, they say, oh, that guy was traveling on private flights. He must be doing all right. Where a lot of times it's a sham. So I don't know, Paul. And again, like I said, just want to reiterate it. This is number 3. Just want to reiterate it. The IRS cross-checks a lot of things. The IRS does have a lot of issues, right? As they reported in that issue, in that release, the IRS got inundated. The IRS computer systems are not the best, but trust and believe. They might not catch you today. They might not catch you tomorrow. But 9 times out of 10, they're going to catch you when you do criminal activity. So be sure to stay away from these scammers, y'all. Stay away from these scammers. But I got some more things I want to talk about as it relates to tax, as it relates to finance, as it relates to money, and things you need to stay away from. So stay tuned. I'll be talking about that. So, I always love to do my affirmation of the day. Now, I had to write this one down today, but this one struck a chord with me today. And so today's affirmation was, I let go of any stress and any anxiety I have felt today. Now, remember, you're supposed to say affirmations more than once. It is, I have let go of any stress and any anxiety I felt today. Again, I have let go of any strife and any anxiety I have felt today. So listen, y'all, as we go about moving on our day to day, remember, let that anxiety go. Let that fear go. Move in love, move in light. Be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment on the channel, the YouTube channel, or go and check out the actual audios, the podcast on the Apple Podcast app. But until the next time, I will see y'all soon. Kamari Ellis out. Thank you for watching the Finance Rebel Show. Until the next time, so long.